he's getting double labor with no gratification.
But you know what, this is Washington DC, and people who are in positions of power, their work schedule is to work till 10 o'clock, you know, big law firms, they work till 10 o'clock at night and then they work on the weekends. So
And some of them are miserable.
Yeah, they're very miserable.
Not all of them, because some of them figure it
But
out.
on the other hand, if they want to succeed in what they're doing, they have to do that.
I have a question.
Well, I mean, so first of all, yeah, okay. Kohelet would say, right, that Washington D.C. is the problem. That there are some who have figured out a way. That there are some who have figured out a way how to deal with it, either because they really do enjoy their work, or because, right, there are people who leave firms all the time to cut back. I mean, you can definitely see Kohelet taking that, 50-year associate and saying, "Why are you going for partners? Making you miserable. Get another job." Something like that. The ones who work in government, who work the 1,000,000 hours, most of them do it for a period of a few years and then they move on. So that's a piece. But there is an element of Washington D.C. Right? Our blood pressure is higher than people who live in Kansas, I think. Jack.
Kohelet doesn't seem to look at Amal from an unselfish point of view. For example, the previous generation that worked ultra hard so that their children could have a better status in life.
Well, he has a very negative view of inheritance.
Yeah. All right.
Right? His view of inheritance is you have no idea whether your children are going to manage your money wisely. So.
No, I'm talking about the money, but the opportunity. In other words, people have, like my parents, lived certainly, but worked very hard, so that all of us, all the kids can get to college. That had nothing to do with inheritance.
So I think that your point goes back again to this first world versus third world problem.
I don't think that
right?
actually, I would say that actually goes almost to a difference between, as other people were saying earlier, ancient times and the last 200 years or whatever. Upward mobility, I don't think was much of a concept. I mean, other than maybe King David succeeded by,
well, he talks about having become very wealthy and then passing it on.
But I don't think that.
I mean, part of his problem is that the ones who work really hard, right? So to give the way he would read the immigrant generation would be to say those people worked so hard, right, to pass it on, and they knew what they were doing. But when they got, some of them, if they got older and they see, well, their kids took all their money and, they don't care about the world. How come they don't work as hard as I do? A dollar used to mean something. How come it doesn't mean anything to my kids? Kind of a thing.
Yeah. I don't think that exists. If you were a peasant back in the day, you were a peasant. However hard you worked, you're never going to be a nobleman.
Correct. But his view of himself is that he started with nothing and had a lot. I mean, there's a little bit of he, started life on third base and thought he hit the triple, but his view of himself is that he worked hard to get it all. Whether that's true.
What does Dave give to? Talking about Donald Trump?
Huh? Somebody had to say it.
Mickey,
yeah.
I don't know if in the first week you discussed the origins of this book, but I assume most people think it's not Solomon in his old age, but there are.
Oh yeah, right.
But there's some feeling of that, because at a certain point he talks about being it's better to be a wise poor youth than a foolish wealthy king, because the king can become I guess we're coming there, but the king can become a pauper while the youth can aspire to become a successful king. So, but you do get some of this sense of someone who's achieved great things in life and then says, why? I mean,
look,
much of it is
you have the same thing. I mean, if you read the book, of Samuel, Book of Kings, I think it's 1 Kings 11, right? So the book's not written by Solomon, but the way that Solomon's life works is you spend like 9 chapters talking about how great he was and how rich he was and how much he built and everything else, and then you get to the 11th chapter, and it's talking about how he went overboard, essentially. Right. And then this book comes in, right, was almost saying that kind of a person who did all that stuff and then went overboard, he discovers the folly of that. Let's just skip a little bit because we can skip 7 and 8. I want to get to verse. Well, read 7 and 8 quickly, but keep going through to 9. So let's read 7 through 12 here. Frank, you want to read? Chapter 4, verse 7.
Sorry, I lost my page now.
It's okay.
There we go. Okay. And I have noted this further futility under the sun, the case of the man who is alone, with no companion, who has neither son nor brother, yet he amasses wealth without limit, and his eye is never sated with riches. For whom now is he amassing it while denying himself enjoyment? That too is a futility and an unhappy business. Two are better than one. Two are better off than one, and in that they have greater benefit from their earnings. For should they fall, one can raise the other. But woe betide him who is alone and falls with no companion to raise him. Further, when two lie together, they are warm. But how can he who is alone get warm? Also, if one attacks, two can stand up to him. A threefold cord is not readily broken.
Okay. Again, this is a whole chapter of relationships, right? The problem with amassing too much wealth, again, he had said before, is if you don't spend any time enjoying it, you're not going to. If you don't appreciate what you have, you're only going to be miserable. And here he's defining enjoying your wealth as sharing it with someone.
With a son or a brother.
Huh?
With a son or a brother.
Well, so who are the two who could be better than one? So why do you say son or brother?
Because that's what it says.
Oh wait, sorry.
With no companion as neither son nor brother,
Doesn't say wife or.
not sister or wife. Son
Oh, yeah.
or daughter.
Newsflash, the Bible doesn't think that much about women.
They didn't count.
Wait till tomorrow.
I mean, we could try to pretend that he really meant women and he was
Things gonna change. Yeah.
right? The two who are better off than one. This could be, the rabbis say that it might be two students, and then the threefold cord is the teacher. I often do use this line in wedding speeches. Kohelet writes all your speeches. Right? Two are better than one. The husband and wife piece, and then what's the third cord? The child. It could be the child. It could be. We act in the social system that they had, right? The child is your social safety net. It could be sort of the God. It could as well. It could be parents too.
You know, like, or any of these are colloquialisms that sort of maybe find out. You find other verses that Bible for some of the times, but
Yeah.
I mean, always expressions change.
I'm sure that they are expressions. These don't. I mean, there's a couple of places where I showed you where similar statements are made in the Bible, but they aren't all. Any that's for the following week now. Right, again, the job of dealing with, or the way to deal with the world and the problems in the world and the oppression in the world and the tragedies that we all experience in life is to deal with them, not question them. And one of the ways that he's talking about dealing with it is having companionship. That's why we build communities. That's why we comfort mourners. That's really what it's all about. Right? I don't know. I thought people didn't want to come for this person. All right, let's try to round out the chapter here, and
I would like to go over line 17.
okay, not there yet. So go read the 17, and we'll go over it.
Be not overeager to go to the house of God. More acceptable is obedience than the offering of fools,
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
read
know
that,
nothing
sure.
but to do wrong.
Start with 13.
Yes, that's read 13.
13? All right. Better a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer has the sense to heed warnings. where the former can emerge from a dungeon to become king, while the latter, even if born to kingship, can become a pauper. However, I reflected about all the living who walk under the sun with that youthful successor who steps into his place. Unnumbered are the multitudes of all those who preceded them, and later generations will not acclaim him either, for that too is futile and pursuit of wings. And then we know we will go to outside.
Okay, so just on the poor but wise youth, how is he defining wisdom here? What is the poor but wise youth? What makes him wise?
He's sensible he's sensible to what's going on about life. He needs warning.
All right, sensible about what goes on. What else? What makes him wise?
He's not focused on getting to the top.
Not focused on me. Marcia, you get something else?
Well, it says heed warnings.
I'm sorry?
Heed warnings. He no longer has the sense to heed warnings, the foolish king.
Oh, right, the foolish one, right, doesn't, but I'm talking about the wisdom of the youth. I mean, I think that the wise, wisdom is defined as being able to enjoy what you have. And that's that Pirkei Avot, right, Ezehu Ashir, Sameach B'chalko, who is wise, I'm sorry, who is rich, the one who is happy with what he has. Well, it's definitely, I don't know whether it's true, but it's like a common wisdom statement that poor people are happier. Right? There's all those Disney movies, right? Isn't that the theme of every Disney movie, that the princess is always miserable and the other one? No,
Cinderella was not that happy.
but she was happier than the rich stepsister.
The person is happy with what they've got, and they lack aspiration and drive to move forward to get more.
And see,
So
again,
I don't see how this fits together, that the poor youth,
see again,
wise
you're
and satisfied with what he's
Not
got.
mutually.
so
and
you're
aspiring forward.
he's giving a response to one extreme, and you're saying, but his response is leading to the other extreme, right? So he is responding to the person. Right? Aspiration is a value, but aspiration gone mad is the one who's doing amal, toiling, and toiling is not right. And so his reaction is, no, experience your place where you are. Going on the other side, which he doesn't really talk that much about in terms of aspiration, but the other side would be the person who experienced all there is to eat and drink and lavishes in wealth and doesn't, have any interest in the world. It's really about moderation.
And we all know people who are satisfied to stay in grade and don't want to get promoted.
Yeah.
And they're enjoying their situation, and they will never rise up, and I don't see the mechanism for this.
I don't personally have a great, love of that kind of attitude. I can't say definitively what Kohelet says, but I feel like he's coming at the perspective of, I've been to the top and it's not so great, but I wouldn't want to jump down the whole way. I would have liked to aspire a little bit. But I may be reading that into him.
But in his world, everybody's working or you couldn't survive. So if you're working and progressing in a more moderate way, that doesn't mean you're without ambition.
I think he's more talking to the corporate lawyer who decided to go become in counsel.
Yeah, but the king never became a prince. Nowhere. Once you were king, you never went back to prince.
Right.
Never.
So be not overeager to go to the house of God. That last verse. My commentary actually places that as the introduction to the next chapter.
17, you're talking about?
Yeah, verse 17.
I mean, is it like somebody who says, okay, we're supposed to bring sacrifices 3 times a year, but I'm gonna go 7 with sacrifices because I'm so much better?
So that's kind of one possibility. my commentary here is reading that as an introduction to the next chapter. What it's doing is the next chapter is going to be dealing with people who make vows and they make promises. And he's saying, right, one way of looking at the issue of vows is if you make a vow, you have to keep it. And he's offering advice and saying, don't rush to don't promise something in the first place. Don't go around and say, when I make my first million, I'm going to give it all to charity. That's making a vow. But rather live life as it comes. Don't promise something way to the future. Parting shots. Any takeaways, lessons to say, this is what Kohelet taught us?
Remains confusing.
Besides, don't read Kohelet. I think there's some simple. Anybody want to put it in the frame of a sentence? Yeah, Wayne.
I just want to get back to the point about aspirations. I never read that into this, that, you can be happy with what you have. That doesn't mean you have to stop growing and stop living and stop aiming for, more either. And that can even bring some satisfaction to you as well.
So Wayne's closing shot is be happy with what you have.
Be happy with what you have, but that doesn't mean you stop growing either.
Yeah.
But you have to grow healthy.
My point was just for those people who are satisfied with the gentleman's seat
Right.
and don't want to work for a fee.
Well, so if Kohelet is saying it's okay to say, well, I disagree with Kohelet on that. I'm not sure that he is saying it, but yeah, I agree. Nobody likes a gentleman's seat. Anybody, any other sort of wisdom that came from him?
Yeah, I think rather than this Epicurean view of Kohelet, he brings us to the point where he says that in all things that you do, you should enjoy them. Even if you work hard, you should enjoy the work. And when you're young, you should enjoy your life, because eventually you will meet your fate. And anyway, all of this is a gift from God, and you have no way of knowing how long that gift will last or how deep it will go. So while you live your life, enjoy it to the fullest.
I do want to add that point of his view, right? People ask, his view of how you relate to God seems to be through gratitude. And lots of people, that's going to be tomorrow's class, too. Lots of people have this question of how do I relate to God? How do I relate to a God who can allow the Holocaust to happen? That kind of a question. His sort of view is you relate to God through gratitude.
Yeah, I had trouble when we went quickly over verses 5 and 6, but I think it gets to the point you just made, because to me it's, the fool folds his hands together and has to eat his own flesh. Better is a handful of gratification than two fistfuls of labor, which is pursuit of the wind. So I saw that as two extremes and a middle ground in there. The fool who holds his hands together, which the footnote says, the fool who does not work has to eat his own flesh. So that's
But you can't not work.
Not sure what that means, but it doesn't sound good. And on the other side,
You can't not work, you can't overwork.
yeah, but the middle ground is a handful of gratification. That is,
And I just want to throw in the other piece of the humility factor, that, it's great to be smart and it's great to be wise and it's great to think about those things. We overthink sometimes and that can cause us great pain. Anyway, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
We have 2 weeks and 7 chapters left, so I'm not sure
Who's meant to be strong in basketball this year? Who's meant to be very good?
Works.
Who?
They lost a few, but they got a really good.